Hey guys, FatBuddyCat here. Well, it looks like we're going to have some inclement weather. So tonight, we're due for a crossover.
And what I mean by that, guys, is we're going to two-bird this thing. I'm going to try to get a couple different projects done on two different bikes. We're going to start with the Custom Doodlebug.
So, when I started this Custom Doodlebug, guys, originally this was going to have a Tillotson 212R. Straight up, stock. This was going to be nice, quiet, and easy going. Well, thanks to my friends over at ombwarehouse.com, we blew that right out of the water. And I was also going to have the seat reupholstered. Well, this one actually looks pretty good to me. Alright, and I think it should stay on there. Because Go Power Sports, they deserve some love. If it wasn't for them and a few of their products, this bike wouldn't necessarily be what it is. This has the cleat and steel wheel package. This is the universal mini bike suspension. The risers, all from Go Power Sports. And these are parts that I use on a lot of my builds. This particular seat installation is going to be super simple. These seats come just like they would from the factory with the threaded inserts. So I'm just going to be using 3 bolts and 3 lock washers. I already have tabs that are welded on. This one got molded when we did the plate, and all I did was I left my front hole a little wide and one of my back ones. Alright, that way if you're putting it on and anything's a little out of square, you don't have to fuss with it. I'm just going to go under there with my 10mm, tighten it on. And once this is all tightened down, it has a very clean factory look to it. That's what we're going for, guys. Now that our seat is on, I'm going to go ahead and set my handlebars where I want them. Okay guys, now we're going to go down below again, and we're going to be after these shaft collars. Alright, we're switching over to a split collar. I like these better. I feel that these are about as heavy duty as you're going to get. If that doesn't work, guys, I can always take this thing apart and I can weld my back collar on. That way, I just have a custom shaft for this unit. Alright, and here they are installed. You spend a little bit more when you go with the split style, but guys, it's worth the ease of mind. See if we can get you back there. Alright. Moving on. Next up, the Megamoto MM212PRO. We're going to start by dropping the chain. Okay, with the chain dropped, we're now going to come over on this side of the mini bike, and we're going to be taking off the driver and also our nylock nut from our pulley. The driver's off and the pulley is still on. we're not getting a whole lot of noise or clunking, guys. The sound that we were getting yesterday was the chain passing over the 10-tooth sprocket. I took the pulley off, and I'm paying attention to what I have for spacers here. Alright, these seem to be stuck together by some act of nature, so we'll just roll with it. Put those aside with the pulley. Next, we're going to remove our jack shaft. I'm just going to pull it from this side. Alright. And there it is. Okay, guys, and the last thing that is left is going to be two bearings, one on each side, and a long bushing that runs down between. Now you can see the edge of the trace on the other bearing over there, right? So I'm going to grab something that's long enough, probably an axle, I don't know, maybe a screwdriver if it's long enough. I'm going to try to bump one of the bearings out, and then I can take the tube out and work the other side. I was very easily able to get in there with this long, skinny screwdriver, a good ball peen hammer, and knock these out without causing any damage. I got both sides. Now I just have that bushing to remove, but that's really not hurting anything. We're gonna leave it in there. These are the culprit. Well, part of it anyways. We're gonna be swapping these bearings. These ones actually aren't bad yet, and I might be able to grease them up, use them on something else. If you haven't guessed it already, we are going to be replacing the Jackshaft, guys. Big thanks to Zach's Pro Mod. He took the time to take me through this, and well, I'm going to give it my best shot. I went ahead and ordered both styles of bearings for this, where we're going to be using the stock bushing tube that's on the inside. We're going to use the same style. We'll just take the caps off and lube these up good. My grease is red. The grease inside of these is blue. You see how much of it there is? That's why you order quality bearings. I got these ones, guys, from OMBwarehouse.com. I went ahead and lubed them anyway, because you know that sauce is the boss. Once I get mine seated, I always give them a kiss. We're going to need a 10-tooth sprocket, and I'm not sure, but I think this one might be keyed, and if it is, that'll work for us. I'm going to get that off there. Okay, so it actually has its own key, but that'll work too. We're just going to put that on the seat. I'm going to explain something else to you. This is important. This is the stock bearing, okay? You can't reuse these with this method, alright? With this method, we are using a 5/8 keyed jack shaft, alright? You can get these a lot of different places. I got this, I actually got all of this at OMBwarehouse.com, except for my split collars, which I got at the hardware store. Alright guys, here is the tricky business. Stock, these bearings, I believe, are 16 millimeter, which is just a little bit bigger than 5/8, but not quite 3/4, right? Well, they use those bearings, and you can see they taper the shaft, right? So we're 5/8 down here where the pulley goes. We're 5/8 up here where the sprocket goes. And this is slightly thicker. Well, all you got to do is get the same size outer diameter, right? And just change your inside diameter to whatever size jackshaft you're going to use. Also, because the bushing in the middle, okay, goes over the thicker shaft, it's also going to allow our 5/8 to slide through. Now, there is going to be a little bit of play in there, but I'm not really that concerned over that. We could find another 5/8 inner diameter tube and change that out whenever we want. We're after the meat and potatoes of this thing. Alright, now since we have 5/8 on both sides, we should be able to slide our shaft all the way through, straight through the bushing. Alright, our shaft is through. The next thing we're going to have to do is start loading it up with our spacers, our pulley, and anything we'll need on this side. Okay, we're going to be using the split collars again, but we're going to mock it up with the regular collar and just leave the key out. We don't need that right now. What we need is a length. To get our length, we come over on the other side of the bike. We put our sprocket on first. We make sure that the shaft is pulled all the way towards us. I'm going to be adding a washer and 2 small bushings. Once those are on, I'm going to slide one of my collars on, and I'm going to make a mark on the shaft. That's where we're going to cut it. If you look closely, you can see that I have 2 lines marked. I do have a guard that I can put on this, but I'm not overly thrilled about that either. So what I'm going to do, guys, is leave myself about 1 inch off the face of my collar. That's where I'm going to make my slice. What I'm left with is an 11.5 inch shaft. Okay, I just cut the end off with my angle grinder and then gave it a nice clean edge. With our shaft through, we're going to come back over to the pulley side and install everything, including the split collar. The only difference is I'm going to be adding the key, and you can see that the stock key that they give you on these is just ever so slightly wider than the regular ones that fit in these shafts. So you could put this in a vise and file it down, but I have one, guys. I just found it on my bench. It's about the same length, probably for another torque converter somewhere. So we'll just use it on this one. Everything else, the pulley, it's all the same. I have this side just sort of tightened down, but snug enough where nothing's going to fall off and pull through easily. I also went and cut a small key for the sprocket and another one because the other one that I cut was the one for the juggernaut. Alright. Everything's tightened up on this side. I'm offset just a little bit over here. So that over on this side, we can just put the guarantee that we're not going to have an adverse effect on our cover when we're putting that on. I can see that we really do have plenty of room. So, you know, at any point I can pull it back this way and actually make it look flush on the other side. We're going to leave it this way for now, though. It's not hurting anything. Go ahead and give it a spin. It's like butter. The stock belt's starting to look a little bit gnarly, but you know what? Might as well run it. I just tightened my juggernauts with a glove on and a heavy right hand. Last thing, we reconnect our chain. Looking good. And now we give it a roll. Beautiful. I'm going to keep my stock jackshaft put together, saved for another time. Well, I think you guys know what that is. It's another work in progress. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night. Now catch you on the next one.